Coming up on this edition of Cedar Falls City News, we take a look into the distant future and more coming up next. Hello and welcome to this edition of Cedar Falls City News. I'm your anchor Nathan Grieve, and our goal is to keep you up to date with city projects and programs so that you, the citizens of Cedar Falls, are better informed. We'll also have human interest features so you can get to know the people who run your city a little better. Future Forward 2025 is one way to look a decade ahead to set a benchmark for the community. Let's take a look into the Channel 15 crystal ball and see what we can expect in 10 years. Cedar Falls has a long history of planning ahead. This year, the tradition continues as the latest planning team undertakes Future Forward Cedar Falls 2025. The team consists of 28 individuals from all different backgrounds in the community. To learn about what exactly Future Forward is, we met with the two co-chairs, Chris Hansen of the Western Home Communities and Therese Kuster of Mud Advertising.
Future Forward 2025 is a citywide planning initiative where we're looking at what types of initiatives do we need to put in place so that Cedar Falls can continue to be the type of community that we want it to be into the future.
Well, Future Forward is trying to take input from the community as to what they really see as the vision and some goals for the city of Cedar Falls. And then, so the committee then's task, in my view, is to take a lot of input from around the community and try to sort through what some of those key concerns, challenges, opportunities, things that really need to evolve towards in this community, and put it in a method that we can communicate that on to the city leaders.
This type of planning has been going on since the early 1990s, and it's a plan that is set forth for 10 years at a time, and then there are annual updates to make sure that the plan is being implemented as it has been set forth. One
of the selling points to me was the credibility that they do listen to what this committee is doing and what it's about, and try to take that and put it into motion.
The Future Forward team has a lofty vision for the effects of their committee.
One of the activities that we did as we were starting to go into our first planning session was to everybody sort of jot down a big idea they had, some crazy goal that maybe would never be accomplished, or some really lofty thing that they wanted accomplished as part of this committee. And so we would set our goals high. And one of the things that I thought about was anything that we can do to make Cedar Falls a great place to live from birth through your entire life.
One of the things that we're not hoping for is to just take the 2020 vision and just make a new version 1.0 of that. What we're really after here is to get the input from the community. I think some of the ways we're doing that with message boards, with the opportunity to go online, we really want that feedback or actually feed into what we're trying to do.
This year, the planning team is taking some different approaches to collecting input from the community.
The idea boards were created by our Public Input Committee, and I think the idea came from other communities that gather research in this type of way. And essentially what they are big chalkboards with the prompt questions at the top, asking people what they think Cedar Falls needs or what big idea they have for our community. And it's just an opportunity for any member at a place of business or a community event to really contribute, just to use a piece of chalk and jot out their ideas. And we also have the questions available via a survey on ourcedarfalls.com. And the intention of those is to gather input from anybody and everybody.
We've had them at Movies Under the Moon. We've had them at the farmers market. We're trying to get them distributed around the community. Right now at the Western Home campuses, we've had them at our resident council meetings, and we'll have them out there for our breakfast, so that we want every member of this community to have the opportunity to give input. And so we're really trying to move them all over the community to get that kind of opportunity where folks are at to reach out and put stuff on it.
Accessibility is so important because we are building our plan around what can serve these community members now and into the next 10 years of the future. So we definitely have to take into consideration what their ideas are, their wants, their needs, and you know, it's an opportunity for, with no risk, you can put any idea you want on these boards, and even though it may seem unreachable to the person writing it out in chalk, if we can know that people want that, then we can take that into consideration when we set the foundation for the next 10 years.
The task will be very challenging, but if past years provide any idea of what to expect, the benefits will be innumerable.
Something that we found in reviewing past plans is that many of the initiatives are actually completed within the first 5 years, which on the surface seems great because it seems like we're accomplishing everything that we want, but one of the personal challenges that I have for myself in our committee this time around is to make sure that our goals are lofty enough that it could take the full 10 years to implement them.
What are we not necessarily missing, but maybe there are things that are missing, but what are some other things that we can enhance so that, that we can shoot towards, that this would just make this community thrive and strive? I mean, the great work that's been done in the past, I'm so proud of this community. But what are those things to take us on to the next level? We can't just sit. If we're sitting, we're dying. And so what are those next things that we really need to be looking at and try to identify that? And we've got such a broad, diverse culture and base here that we need to hear all of those things and see what the consistent themes are, and then try to narrow down some of that focus.
The takeaway for citizens is that no dream is too big or too small, and your input is valued no matter who you are. But there is limited time to make your thoughts known.
We are really looking for all the input that we can get from the community at large through all these different types of meetings to gather that. Then we will take that you know, later this fall. So we really need all the input that we can get through August or early September. And then what we will do is use the fall and early and winter to really start to put the plan together based on a lot of the input that we're getting. I think that's a tremendous opportunity for the community to put some of their ideas down. But what I would say to that is we're getting some crazy stuff written, and you're always going to get that. But for the folks that are watching this, do a little thoughtfulness on that. Yeah, we want what comes top of mind because a lot of times that's what your gut's really thinking.
So don't delay. The future's coming quickly, and this is your chance to help shape it.
This isn't easy work, and we really want to have the community's input. We really want the community's involvement. We've done a pretty good job in the selection of the committee, I believe, from a great cross-section of the community with the university, healthcare, younger folks, older folks, business community, just a very good cross-section. But what we really need to hear is from the total community.
We're serving anybody in the city of Cedar Falls. When we went through and looked at our committee, we tried to make sure that we had representation from all areas, whether it was from education. We have some faith-based representatives as well, some government representatives. We have some high school students, we have college students, we have retired people, we have young people, we have older people. We have every representation that we could possibly find to make sure that we have a broad input, so what we think of doesn't just benefit or doesn't just affect a single group of people. We want to make sure we have a diverse and inclusive committee so that we can come up with diverse and inclusive initiatives to take us through the next 10 years.
Be sure to keep an eye out for idea boards while you're out and about town. But you don't need to wait if an idea comes to you. A reminder to visit ourcedarfalls.com to take the short survey. It covers the same things that you'll find on the idea board, and it's a great way to get your idea out before the thought slips away. Cedar Falls residents may have noticed a new item being recycled throughout the city: Styrofoam. Shelby Gappa has the story.
The city of Cedar Falls bought a new machine this summer which will aid in recycling styrofoam. This machine takes the various kinds of styrofoam and densifies it into a solid block.
Typically how the machine works, you turn it on, you let the heater heat up for about 30 minutes. Once the heaters heat up to the appropriate temperature, there's different temperature ranges for the different type of styrofoam. Then you turn the machine on, it has these teeth in there that cut the styrofoam up as it goes through the machine. Then there's an auger in there that augers out the material into the chute that drops it down to the form down below.
The recycling center is currently taking 3 different types of styrofoam: polystyrene, polyethylene, and polypropylene.
On the bottom of the styrofoam packaging, there's a recycling logo, just like you would get on your other plastic type containers as well. It'd be like a number 6 or a number 4 or number 5 on it. They might say a PS or a LDPE or a PP for polypropylene. So that's what you need to look for in the styrofoam packaging.
Once you have collected styrofoam to recycle, make sure it is clear of tape and food waste. If you are bringing in styrofoam peanuts, place them into a bag and tie that bag shut. You don't have to bring your styrofoam recyclables to the main recycling center located at 15th and State Street. Public Works is also collecting styrofoam at 2 other roll-off sites: at the University of Northern Iowa campus up on Panther Parkway, as well as at Green Hill Village right beside the UNI water tower. Purchasing the styrofoam densifier has been planned for about a year now and was partially funded thanks to a swap grant with the DNR. This grant gave the city $20,000 for it, with the city paying the other $20,000 necessary to buy the recycling machine. Before, when residents accidentally left styrofoam in their cardboard boxes, employees would have to ship it to the landfill. Now, that styrofoam will have a different future.
Once these blocks are made, we let them cool down, and then we put them on a pallet, and then we'll shrink wrap the pallet and then send it back to our recycler.
So next time you're separating your recyclables, don't forget about styrofoam. Reporting for Cedar Falls City News, I'm Shelby Gappa.
Thanks, Shelby. Tune in next week as we take an in-depth look at the recycling center and all the changes it's made over the last year following their reconstruction project. The Trails Festival is back, and so is the night ride. And maybe the best way of celebrating Cedar Falls trails is to ride them. Anton Ryder has the story.
Saturday, August 15th, was every bicyclist's dream. A whole day of biking.
The day starts with a long ride. It's approximately a 29-mile ride from Gateway Park in Cedar Falls to McFarland Park just past LaPorte City on the Cedar Valley Nature Trail. There are multiple stops along the way. There are 4 different places that you can join the ride. One's in Exchange Park. There's a shelter there. You can go to the Evansdale Bridge. You can get on at Gilbertville Depot, or you can just join at LaPorte and ride to that bridge.
Luckily, if anything went wrong, help was not far away.
It will all be a supported ride. Europa Bike and Ski will support the riders on that ride. So if you have a problem on the way down there, they will be there to help you. At 8:30, we're going to start the Light Up the Night ride. That will consist of the long part of that is a 9-mile ride that will go through Georgewith State Park on that trail, over the trails along 218 on that bridge, come back on South Riverside, go around the Cedar Falls Utilities, through Washington Park, and then back to Gateway Park. That would be about 9 miles. There's a shorter route for families that will go from Gateway and then over Krieg's Crossing, and then around the Cedar Falls Utilities and back to Gateway. That's approximately 3 miles.
Even though this was only a one-day event, this does not mean it only took 1 day of planning. When asked just how much planning it did take, Bob had one thing to say.
A lot. There's a lot of work that goes into planning this, and it takes months to plan something like that. We started this in June, and we weren't sure we were going to get this done in time. A lot of work trying to recruit volunteers to help out something like this, because neither one of these cost anything.
So whether you get to bike on Saturday or not, make sure to go check out the Cedar Valley Trail System.
The Cedar Valley, Waterloo Cedar Falls has an excellent bicycle trail system. you should get out and enjoy it. Whether you walk, run, bicycle, snowshoe in the wintertime, cross-country ski, it's always there, it's always available, and you should go out and enjoy nature. Get out of the office, get your mind off things. It's just a good way to take a mini vacation during a week.
For Cedar Falls City News, I'm Anton Reiter.
Thanks, Anton. The trails are always open and provide a great route for work or play. With Sid Morris stepping down from his position on the CFU Board of Trustees, the City Council needed to find a new member. They did in Craig Johnson. The City Council recently selected Craig Johnson as the newest member of the CFU Board of Trustees. The trustees are a 5-citizen board tasked with governing CFU and establishing long-term planning and financial stability. Johnson will begin his 6-year term in September. The position was previously held by Sid Morris, who will be stepping down after 3 terms spanning 18 years. 6 candidates were interviewed to succeed Morris, and the City Council chose Johnson in late July. Craig Johnson is certainly qualified to have a place on the board. He currently serves as the executive director of the Iowa Academy of Science and is a member of the Governor's STEM Advisory Council. Johnson also serves on the boards of the Cedar Falls Community Foundation and the Cedar Falls Historical Society. And of course, Johnson is fondly remembered as a meteorologist at KWWL-TV for 24 years. Johnson looks forward to taking on this new role at CFU, which he says will appeal to his lifelong interest in science and technology. The remainder of the Board of Trustees will continue unchanged. To find out more about CFU and to contact them with any questions you may have, visit their website at cfu.com. This year's Hearth Fest is set to begin, and it will once again use the winning formula of years past. Anton Reiter has more.
The 11th annual Hearth Fest 2015 will be held on August 23rd from 2 to 8 p.m. at Gateway Park in Cedar Falls.
Hearth Fest is a music and arts festival that we've put on. This is our 11th year. So we have local musicians, local artists, artisans, use their talents to help us to raise money and food for the food bank. We also have Karma Cafe with pie and coffee, and the Hearth Center for the Arts will be doing kids activities and a poster contest, and we'll have Bucky from the Waterloo Bucks out, and so it's from 2 to 8 on August 23rd at Gateway Park in Cedar Falls. So it's kind of a fun family event, and donate food or money for the food bank. We have the music is from 2 to 8, and we'll have different Cedar Valley acoustic guitar players playing, like Carla Ruth, the Atomic Fireballs. We have Doug and Marty doing, Nichols doing music, Irish music. And then we have Raldo and Friends and some others. And then we also, at the end, we're having it new this year, and we're excited about it, is Dylan Sires is playing from 7 to 8. So that music will be there, but along with that, we'll have the Bucky from the Waterloo Bucks will be there from 3 to 4. There's a kids poster art contest, and that's from 2 to 4. We also have a haiku contest that we just kind of for fun and prizes that we do throughout the day, and face painting. So it's a lot of fun and just very kid friendly. And the art auction goes until 6. We have items that you bid on, and then you can look back and bid higher if you want to bid higher, and we also have just some art items for sale directly. So 100% of the money that we raise and the food that we get goes to the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. The food goes into the Cedar Valley Food Pantry that's housed in the food bank, and then the money goes to the food bank. Fun afternoon, bring a cooler, bring your kids, bring lawn chairs if you'd like to sit outside, and just come and enjoy the day, and with that mind of donations, and just have a fun time and feel the good vibe from all the people that are there to help others. It's really a great event, and it's awesome.
So if you're interested in live music, food, fun, and helping out a great cause, be sure to stop by Gateway Park. For Cedar Falls City News, I'm Anton Ryder.
Thank you, Anton. If you'd like to donate time or resources to the Northeast Iowa Food Bank, you can visit their website at northeastiowafoodbank.org. Next, let's take a look at some of the events coming up in the Cedar Valley, as well as a few special announcements. The Cedar Falls Health Trust Fund Board is currently seeking applicants. Individuals or organizations interested in seeking funding from the Health Trust Fund should submit an application to the Department of Finance and Business Operations before 4 p.m. on Thursday, October 1st. Requests must show a direct benefit to the citizens of Cedar Falls, and emphasis must be given to health-related purposes within the city. The application requires that the applicant complete a Health Trust Fund Board application packet, which may be obtained from the Department of Finance and Business Operations at City Hall. It can also be obtained by visiting the city's website at cedarfalls.com/health. For further information, contact Jennifer Rodenbeck, City of Cedar Falls Director of Finance and Business Operations, at 268-5108 or email at jennifer.rodenbeck@cedarfalls.com. The Cedar Falls Farmers Market continues to provide customers with locally grown goods, including fruits and vegetables, baked goods, meats, crafts, flowers, and more. The Farmers Market will take place every Saturday through October. Grab a bike and head to the corner of 4th and Main every Wednesday at 6 p.m. to take place in Wednesday on Wheels. With road and trail rides to choose from, there's room for everyone. Just make sure to bring your helmet and lights. City Council meetings happen every Monday. If you'd like to view them but aren't able to attend in person, the meetings are televised live and with re-airings happening throughout the week. Movies Under the Moon ends for the season on August 25th, when Shrek will be playing on the big screen in Overman Park. Enjoy this year's final free musical performance at Live to 9. On August 28th, Twins will be performing this year's Live to 9 finale. The show is open to the public and will be held in Sturgis Park behind the Ice House Museum. Food and beer are available, so please avoid bringing outside beverages. Community Main Street, the Iowa Bike Coalition, and the Cedar Falls Tourism and Visitors Bureau will be bringing a new event to the Cedar Valley on August 22nd. In the Grand Fondo Cedar Valley, riders will have the option to bike 3 courses of different lengths. Routes will begin and end in downtown Cedar Falls and include great stops in area communities along the way. Ride registration is currently open at www.grandfondocedarvalley.com. In conjunction with the bike ride, Community Main Street will be hosting a full-scale street festival in downtown Cedar Falls called Fondo Fest following the ride. Just prior to Fondo Fest, Community Main Street will open its doors to new UNI students from 11 to 2 on the 22nd as part of the annual Panthers on Main celebration, giving new students and their families a chance to explore downtown and get to know their city a little better. The 11th annual Hearth Fest will be held at Gateway Park on August 23rd. Starting at 2 p.m., this music and art festival raises food and money for the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. Donated arts and crafts from local artists will be available to purchase in a silent auction. The haiku contest returns, and kids can take part in a poster designing contest. There's plenty more to do before the festival finishes at 8 o'clock. Shields has partnered with the Iowa DNR to offer the field day component of the required Iowa Hunter Education course on August 25th. One of the options for obtaining a Hunter Education certificate from the state of Iowa is to complete an online course and participate in a field day. The field day includes some classroom instruction and some gun and bow handling. Students will then take a final exam where a score of 75% or better is needed to pass and obtain the certificate of completion. Cost is free, but space is limited. Registration is open to hunters ages 11 and older. Be sure to keep an eye on our announcements each week for an updated list of what to expect next. If you felt you didn't get enough biking during RAGBRAI, Anton Ryder has some great news for you.
With RAGBRAI behind us, a new event can take the main stage. The Grand Fondo Cedar Valley is a brand new biking event brought about by Community Main Street, the Iowa Bike Coalition, and the Cedar Falls Tourism and Visitors Bureau. In the Grand Fondo, bikers can choose from 3 different courses, which range from a 30-mile course, a 60-mile course, or a challenging 100-mile course.
We have teamed with the Iowa Bike Coalition, who is, they're one of the groups that help put on RAGBRAI, so they know what they're doing. They are going to have a ride that's going to start and end in downtown Cedar Falls on August 22nd. Guests can choose between 3 different routes, a 100-mile route, a 60-mile route, or a 30-mile route. And then at the end of the event, we'll close down Main Street. We will have a craft beer festival, and we'll have kids activities, family activities from 4 to 9 that evening. It's the first time we've ever closed down Main Street to have a craft beer festival actually on Main, so we're really excited about that.
All 3 routes will begin and end in downtown Cedar Falls and include stops in area communities. Every rider who chooses to take on the 60-mile or 100-mile course will receive a jersey, swag bag, race entry, and food at the post-race party. Riders who finish all 100 miles will receive a commemorative gold medal for their efforts. Once the race is finished, Community Main Street will be hosting a full-scale street event called Fondo Fest, which will run from 4 to 9. The festival will take place on Main Street and will feature live music from Checker and the Blue Tones, a craft beer tent featuring Iowa craft beer, and a special kids area complete with inflatables and a special Strider bike obstacle course. Registration is open for the ride on August 22nd. For Cedar Falls City News, I'm Anton Reiter.
If you'd like to learn more, you can go to grandfondocedarvalley.com. And that's all for this edition of Cedar Falls City News. I'm your anchor, Nathan Grieve, and thank you, Cedar Falls, for watching.